We've had 2 full months of content now. That's full months of content, not months full of content. So we'll do a little comparison and see if things have improved month on month. For the launch month, we had 450 minutes of content roughly, which works out at 7.5 hours. 4 of those were on battle reports alone. And for this month, we've got 5.5 hours and 2.5 of them were for battle reports. Taken over the course of a month, that is terrible. To put it in context, I've watched about 8 hours of hobby YouTube stuff this week, and I know that's from multiple creators, but still, Games Workshop's huge. They should be able to do a lot better than this. I'm actually baffled. I can't understand what's gone wrong here. I just can't see this being the strategy. I just don't know what's happened. Surely if you're launching something like this, you have a plan other than, let's see what we can get away with. Animations have had half the screen time this month compared to last month. 64 minutes compared to 129 minutes in launch month. And while a lot of that can be put down to the fact that there were 3 Hammer and Bolters as well as Angels of Death for launch month, an hour of animations, considering that's what the service was sold on, is pathetic. There's no other way to put it. I know I'm in a bit of a rant here, but I'm just upset. I want this to succeed. I wanted more from it, and I can't see it at the moment. I just can't see where it's going to go. We even had a week with no animation at all, and I believe Australia didn't get Fangs last week, which was excellent by the way, due to some unspecified problem. The battle report we were meant to get last week was moved to this week, and I can only assume it's to pad out this week because we only got a Hammer and Bolter as well as that battle report. So it's just a mess. It really is. I want to be positive about Warhammer Plus, I really do, but they're not giving me much to work with. My comment section is littered with people who are monthly subs that have already quit, and they'll probably resub in 6 months or 12 months time, watch everything, and then quit again. Even the annual subscribers at this moment would not sub unless something drastic happened. Myself, I'm kind of in the same boat. If it comes to next year and the mini isn't up to snuff, I will not be resubbing, because I can't rely on there being enough content in the animation side, so the mini's kind of the only reason to sub again. So they're not doing a very good job of this at all. Total mismanagement. Someone in the comments said it seemed like the intern had been left in charge of this, and I think that's a bit harsh on the intern. I know it's a bit early to be talking about resubbing for next year, but barring 1 week, there doesn't seem to be a strategy behind this at all. I know my comment section is a small sample size, but it looks like people are voting with their wallets, and I hope GW sit up and take notice, but I don't know if they will. On the other hand, I wonder how many exclusive minis are going to go for more than the annual subscription price. I could see that happening, and I would laugh my head off if it did. I will say that some people have been telling me how bad they think Angels of Death is, even an animator and someone with extensive experience in the film industry, and what I would say to that is, I'm not having it. Angels of Death, in my eyes, is brilliant. I've talked before that I thought the facial expressions were a bit off. Camera shakes a bit too much, get a bit queasy from it, and the art style takes a bit of getting used to. But other than that, I think it's amazing. I think it's everything that Warhammer should be. Some have said that the story's poor, and I would absolutely disagree with that. I think it's well written, suspenseful, action-packed, and basically everything I've wanted for an animation for the last 32 years that I've been in the hobby, which is a long time. There are so many iconic moments, and it feels a bit naughty to get such a close look behind the scenes of my favourite chapter. We've even been able to see like Champions of Legend, and that's amazing to me. Anyway, let's see what we get this week, and up front I'll tell you it isn't much. We've got no Lore Masters or Masterclass, and finally it happened. There's nothing I'm interested in. As always, we'll kick off with Warhammer Vault, and we've got the Traitor's Hate campaign book and 4 White Dwarfs. So a standard amount of stuff. We know what we're getting each week, and we can expect it, which is what we want from the rest of the service. Anyway, I won't go into that again because I mention that every week, and people will be getting bored of it by now. For Hammer and Bolter this week, we've got A Question of Faith, and we see the Sisters of Battle fighting off a Khorne invasion at their church. There's going to be some spoilers this week. They'll be very minor, but if you don't want to hear them, then just skip this section. There is a bit in this episode that really bothered me. The senior sister, I don't know her name. Her name was Agatha, but I don't know her rank. They're taking up a defensive position, and as soon as she starts firing, her bolter's out of ammo. And I just wondered, how can that happen? Have you not checked your ammo level before you took up your position? It really, really bothered me. She had loads of time to do it as well, so there was absolutely no excuse. It just made them seem amateurish. The battle scenes, as we've come to expect from Hammer and Bolter, are brutal, but they were a bit disjointed. The sisters were fighting in the same room as each other, but they didn't really seem to know what each one was doing. They didn't really help each other out. It didn't flow as much as other ones have. It was also extremely predictable. You'll think, that'll happen in the first few minutes. And big spoiler, it does. There's no surprise whatsoever. There was no suspense or anything like that because you knew what was going to happen. It wasn't well written. It's the poorest one so far by a country mile. I say country mile a lot about Angels of Death, but that's because it's the best thing on Warhammer Plus by a country mile. This Hammer and Bolter was the worst one. You know Sisters of Battle aren't my thing if you've watched my channel for any length of time. This does nothing to change my mind. I still hate all the candles. I still hate the fact they've got church fences on their armour. And at one point I thought we were actually going to find out how they actually light the candles on the armour, which would have at least been a little bit interesting, but we didn't. So this one was a massive for me. The battle report this week is Age of Sigmar, and it's Stormcast v Ogre Maw Tribes. Now the battle looked amazing. It's on a snowy board. All the armies were based with snowy bases, so it looked incredible. As usual, really well produced, really well photographed. It still had a bit of a feeling that it's an extended learn to play, but Nick Baton, who has moved to the battle reports team permanently, I think he's getting better with every single one. He's getting a lot more natural, and they're just very enjoyable to watch. Age of Sigmar isn't my thing, so it wasn't great for me, but if you're really into Age of Sigmar, want to learn how to play, and you'd really want to take tips off the people that actually made the game, then this is for you. So that's month 2 of Warhammer Plus done and dusted. There are a lot of people in the comments section that seem to be very worried about me. They're worried I'm being taken advantage of, they're worried I'm being abused by Games Workshop, but please don't worry so much. I've been in this hobby for a long time. I know what I want to spend my money on. I know how much disposable income I've got. I'll be fine. It is touching that so many people are concerned about me though. Anyway, let me know if you think Games Workshop can turn Warhammer Plus around, or if it's already lost in the warp. If you haven't already, please consider subscribing. Maybe throw me a like or a comment. That would be great. As always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Cheers. And it certainly doesn't look like it. And we got the Traitors Hate campaign book. So that's month 2 of Warhammer Plus. Do that again. Anyway, let me know if you think Games Workshop can torn? Or if it's already been lost in the warp. Warp?